I quit on this field one time, and I haven't admitted that to anybody. I've always told somebody there's a time I quit. I quit on this field one time, and I've never quit again. It changed my life. I was so disappointed in myself, but more so I was disappointed that I disappointed other people. You know, mainly a coach that I hated and loved. Is that he doubted me, but yet he believed in me, and I freaking one time I quit. Quit on him, didn't give him everything. It's not I'm stuck in high school, I haven't been back here, but I'd rather pull my eyeballs out myself than ever quit something again. I hated that feeling, and I'll never feel it again. Hey, my name is Renny Doyle, and this is my story. My beginnings, like a lot of kids, a lot of us didn't come from a lot, and I definitely didn't, but I had the greatest childhood you could imagine. Grew up in Colton, California. I was actually born in San Bernardino. San Bernardino is a pretty tough town now, but back then it was kind of an all-American city. It was a melting pot. We had everybody from everywhere, and we knew how to have fun. It's a rough area, but if you look around, there's a lot of pride in parts of it, you know? There's that. A lot of these people are generational. They've been here for a long time, you know? So this is kind of cool because the Ramirez's, really good friends of ours, their parents still live here, as did my mom until she died just 3 years ago, but the Ramirez's are still there. So the Walsh family's still there. The Manage family's still there. So, I mean, it's kind of cool, you know? But this was like our skateboard park, this hill. This is called Oak Street Hill. That was dirt over there. And we did everything crazy. That's my mom's. That's the back of our house right there. So that's the house I grew up in. There's 4 boys in my family. My stepbrother and I were never raised together. You know, he went with my dad. We knew each other at a young age, and they were separated. I was kind of a solo kid, and I shared a room with my grandma. 19 years in the same bedroom with her, and I remember coming home, my first drinking experience. So I remember sneaking in, and I must have reeked. I hit that bed, man, that bed's spinning. And all of a sudden, my grandma calls out, and she goes, "I know you're drunk, I can smell it. The bed's spinning. Put your foot on the floor. You'll get through the evening." And I knew right then and there my grandma was cool because I didn't get lectured to. She came up, you know, born in 1911. She lived through the Great Depression. This woman had endured so much, you know, and now she's got the burden of raising one newborn, me, and another couple kids because my dad was gone. And she always put us first. And she taught me so many life lessons that continue today. Not having a dad in my life, you know, my mom and grandma, they knew I was a good kid and they just didn't worry. I had an uncle that was really adventurous as a Boy Scout. He would drop us off at the base of the mountains and we'd actually hike all the way up here to Big Bear. It would take us days to get up here. We didn't know the way. I had a map and compass and I kind of knew where I wanted to get. All I knew was going to be an adventure. And as a kid, I think that sense of adventure really paid off later in life, and it has my entire life. go. The outdoors for me is life. It's breath. I went to school up in Idaho for a couple of years, and that even more so cemented in my love affair. I got exposed to whitewater rafting. I got exposed to kayaking. I did a little bit of hunting. I have nothing against it, just wasn't for me. But what I do is, because of my training both in search and rescue and the military, is I'm a great tracker. And so I'd go out and track, and then when they were actually hunting and gonna shoot something, I would leave, because that's still not for me. I'd rather go up and hug an elk that's gonna try to kill me than shoot it. I jumped into search and rescue when I was in my early 20s on professional search and rescue teams. You know, I wanted to give back. I've got a natural ability to the outdoors and a natural love affair with the outdoors. And so at an early age, I really jumped into search and rescue, and I became addicted to it. It's a great way to give back. B, it's an adrenaline rush. I've done some things that most people just don't get an opportunity to do. And a lot of people don't realize that 90% of search and rescue is done by volunteers. And being on a professional team, I'm talking, you know, hardcore team, is that it was my way to give back to my communities. So much life adventure started here, and it's really paid over. It's played over into business like you wouldn't believe. Business isn't dangerous, but it's intimidating. And shit, the stuff that we went and faced when we came out of these doors, I mean, that makes business, I mean, not that it's not scary, but this shit was real. Shit happens. You have friends get killed. It's weird being here, and I don't know. It's weird not going in and opening it up and walking in and jumping in one of the trucks. Serving, you know, whether it be, you know, search and rescue in the military or civilian side of things, the life lessons are just endless. This is where mindset is so important. So we're going out, we're looking for a nearly 70-year-old female. And right off the bat, the weather's not great. She's been gone for 3 days. My mindset right off the bat is the process of natural selection is set in. This gal's gone. It's not like me to have that outlook. 2 days later, we found her alive. And not only do we find her alive, we found her doing fantastic. And it was alarming to me that I would allow some mindset to set in towards a negative force, because had I not been on a team, I wouldn't have been as dedicated to finding her. Yet my team kept pushing ahead. The glass always 3/4 full. It's never empty. You can tell I kind of like this town. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on. Come on. Number two. Hey, Quota, come on. Hey, let's go. Come on, let's go out here. Come on, let's go. You ready? Let's go. Come on. Come on. Ready? Come here. We're gonna go this way. Hey, you guys, look at Minnie over here. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Come on. Whoa! Wipe out. Okay. I was doing search and rescue. I was mountaineering, and my best friend Rich came into town. We decided to go out to a country western bar, and I see this beautiful brunette, and I mean, I don't know if I believe in love at first sight, but in this case, it was. And so we started talking, and she mentioned that she was going to be back. So I went back a week later, and she was there, and it was amazing. When I met Diane, she told me that first time I met her, she had 2 kids. So I'm thinking, okay, you know, I'm like, yeah, you know, I can deal with this. She's worth that, you know. How old are your kids? And she goes, well, the oldest one's 2. And I went, oh, and she goes, and my son's 8 months old. And I went, this is my time to run. You know, do I run? And the answer was no. I love Ryan and Devin like they're my own. And then we've got 2 kids between us. I don't see any difference. Fatherhood was a real challenge for me. You know, I had a young man just a couple years ago tell me, when you become a father, before you become a parent, you really need to ask yourself, Are you a nurturing type of person? Because you're going to take this individual and have to nurture them. I'm not a real nurturing person. I'm a push forward person. And so I don't feel I was a good dad. I was a good mentor and coach. I wish I would have been a little better at being a dad. I looked at everything from the only view I had, and that was survival. And so I give my energy level and everything I do is 200%. And I don't understand when people don't put 200% in. And so that's a really high expectation to put on kids. I mean, it's just been an amazing journey. It's like any marriage, it's taken work. But I can tell you this about Diane. She has never quit on me. The reason we've had success is we're both into it 100%. Every once in a while, she'll give 80% and I'll have to kick in 120%. Or I'm into it 50% and she'll have to kick in 150%. We always cover down for each other and we always come out of it. I wouldn't be the man I am, and I definitely wouldn't be as mature as I am, and I wouldn't be as loving as I am without her. My entry into detailing was as a kid, and I'm sitting where we lived on bikes, we're riding around. All of a sudden, we look up in the sky and there's this plane doing aerobatics, and we're like blown away. So we said, well, let's go find the airport. We took it on our bikes and we found the airport. It was about 8 miles away in a neighboring town. And the airplane we'd seen was there, and I was just blown away. I rode my bike back up there solo the next day, hanging out. I'm seeing this one guy who's really sophisticated looking. He had a flight suit on. He's coming in and out of these planes. And so after 2 or 3 days hanging out, this guy comes up to me and he goes, son, why are you always here? And I said, I'm blown away at these airplanes. It's just so cool. And he goes, why'd you learn to fly? And I said, well, does it cost money? And he's like, well, yeah, it costs money. And I said, yeah, I don't have any money. And he goes, well, are you lazy? And I said, no, sir. And he said, okay, come with me. And he taught me how to wash an airplane. I remember it started out as I had to do 5 airplanes and I'd get 1 hour of instruction. That wasn't a real good trade, but I think he wanted to see if I had it in me. And it's pretty ironic because then I got a little company. I started buffing planes out. It just kept growing and growing, and I started doing cars. And before I knew it, I had a nice little, side hustle going for being a teenager. So flash forward, I get an opportunity. Somebody buys my company out, 19 years old. I was on to bigger, better things. I'd been a multimillionaire by the time I was 25. By the time I was 20, I realized, this doesn't happen very easy. So I've got to get some more smarts in me. I didn't do jobs well. I was a great worker, but I didn't like it. I would look at what they're making and know that I could dip into that profit doing it myself. I learned so much. So then I invested in a company. It went flat. I lost everything. Here I am, in my 20s. I'm worth $500,000, and it's gone. At that time, Diane and I married. I was on a real uptick, when I met her. Everything was going good, but I did warn her. I said, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, I've taken some risk. And so when it hit, I came home to her, I'll never forget, and I said, listen, I can go back to the company I worked for. They want me back right now. I said, but we don't have that much money, but I can start a detailing company back up, and it doesn't cost much. And she goes, Renny, you don't work for others. You're much better being your own thing. Watch this, you can always change pathways at a later time. So honestly, I started detailing as a way to survive. We're building this detailing brand up. We're meeting a lot of people. We had another couple sets of businesses that we started off all on the back of detailing. We had a transportation company, and one of our drivers is driving by us as we're working on a corporate jet. The guy says, oh my God, there's this guy up here. Do you know anything about him? He goes, well, him and his wife own this company, and they own both. So he circled back around. Really intriguing guy. Ends up, he's got a lot of planes. We start talking business. Turns out this guy is somebody. His name's Joe Clark, Aviation Partners. I hit the Holy Grail. And he tested me out on a T-28, a World War II trainer, and it turned out amazing. 2002, he's on the board of directors for Boeing, but he's also on the board of directors for the Museum of Flight in Seattle, one of the premier aviation museums in the world. I get a call from him. It's the week of Thanksgiving, and he says, what are you doing tomorrow? The next day up, he flies me up to Seattle, And I'm looking at the original jet, Air Force One, and it's trashed. Boeing can't get it back right. Aviation Partners can't get it back right. They've had a couple other detailers come up and try to get the metal back right, get the paint back right. Can't do it. I did a test panel on the paint, easy peasy. Problem is, it's this big. We've got like 42 Suburbans of raw aluminum to do. I come home, Diane goes, "What'd you do?" And I said, "I nailed it." And she says, "Is it gonna be easy?" And I said, "I did a piece this big. I have no idea how we're gonna do this." 2003, we get the contract. We go up with 7 people for 2 weeks. And we're small at that time. You know, we brought everybody we could. And Boeing came in the last day and they go, "We cannot believe this is the same plane." And that was the start to it. It's almost, this next year will be 20 years. Hey, we're up here in Seattle, Washington, Museum of Flight, Air Force One 2023, 20 years, unreal. So in the early days, we didn't want to come back. It was so much work, is that we just said, man, I'm not coming back and doing this. But once these planes get a hold of you, and the fact that we're preserving history, and it's a little bit of pride, it's patriotism, it's self-pride as an entrepreneur. And then to see it change my life, change my whole career, and to see it change careers of people that attend now, it's never, I can't wait to I wish we could do it every 6 months. I'd come back every 6 months. When this began, I just opened my 3rd shop up. And so this actually launched our training. And so in 2003, when we did this, we were getting emails from all over the world saying, "Hey, how do I get to this level?" And so I started doing like open garages and small venues. And then a guy named Matt Williams got a hold of me on one of the old forums and said, "Hey, I'd love to come up and just shadow you for a week." So I put a price, a value to it, and that started the training program. When we started organizing, you know, and we started bringing the think tank together, Detailers Network, all kinds of stuff, we didn't talk a lot. We kind of kept quiet back in those days because the industry is different. We didn't want to give up our secrets. Somebody, it was actually a reporter said, "You know, hey, you're kind of like the Mafia." And I went, "Yeah, Detail Mafia." Didn't think it would stick, didn't know if I liked it. So it was kind of internal. We were kind of kidding around with it. And then by the time we got here with the team, it started sticking. What it is, it's really dedication to lifestyle. It's dedication to one another. It's dedication to the art. It's dedication to education. It's dedication to the IDA. The founders group, we decided that, hey, we've got this. Let's bring more people into this pool. Let's educate them. And through that, we're going to ourselves get smarter. And that's exactly what happened, is that we started teaching other people how to be successful. It rose our abilities up because we had more people to pull off of knowledge-wise, and share with each other and build our own ability into a sweet point that it is today. We've got all these things that bring you up through the group. Now you come in, you're an associate member. 2 years in, you're eligible to be made. Being made means that we believe in you as a member. You're building a lifestyle. You're building a business. You are doing things morally and ethically correct. From there, you become a master. Out of 200 members, only 14 masters over the last 12 years that we've been doing it. And then we got founding masters, founding members. So those are the gentlemen that built this group, that built the core values of it. And then from there, 2 years ago, we had the Mafia Hall of Fame. And it's because some of us were getting older, you know, and things happen. And we wanted to recognize people that stand out. And again, there's only 5 and an honorary member as of last night. So that's going to be a very slow group to grow. And we're pretty excited about it.
Much like life, I've never gotten off the ground by myself. None of us have. Many of these people that I just mentioned and have stood up, they've lifted me up and we lift each other up. And so when you hear somebody say that you're a self-made person, it's just not true. I've definitely not been self-made. A lot of people have done lifting over the years. You all being here is proof of that, is that people lift up people. And we are finally to the point that our industry is lifting up others as a whole, and this is proof of it tonight. To have all you here, and I go back right here, out on the grass, where Air Force One used to be. It all started right here. If you would have told me that I would have had industry people like this, friends like this, the museum staff like this, and my family like this here, I would have never expected that. I'm blown away, and I'm forever grateful for your friendship, for your support, and for joining me and moving the industry ahead and preserving these artifacts that go on way past we do. This is my headstones. I don't need anything more, because every person I put into, that's how I want to be remembered. Good night, thanks for coming.
Not too long, huh?